Good morning, YouTube. So, I played in the Remote Duel YCS over the weekend, taking what I thought was just going to be a cheap, crappy deck that I was going to play 3 rounds, lose all of them, and just go away with my Amabi, mat, and participation prizes, and carry on with my weekend. But I actually did surprisingly well. The deck I chose was just normal summon, Gearframe, set a couple of traps, pass, and ended up going 8-3 with 47th after Swiss, after round 11. So I was only 1 win away from actually topping with this. Yeah, and I'll just get into it now. So you'll see that a couple of the things are a little bit scuffed because I built this on the Friday morning before I had to go to work. But when I come to those bits, I'll explain them. The main deck should be more or less how I want it, though. So, start off 3 Gearframe. This is your Alistair, effectively. You want to normal summon this first turn if you can possibly do it. For those who don't know what these old cards do, this literally just searches for a Machina monster, and then it does union stuff, but that's literally it. 2 Fortress. This being a janky old card was extremely relevant, with its summon not being an activated effect or anything they can chain to. 1 of the new card, Ruin Force. This is kind of similar, because its summon also isn't like an activated effect. The amount of times I just got my board wiped, then people just summon this in defense, and then they'll go to attack it and ask, oh, what's its defense? And I say 41, and they just can't get around it. And then they try and pop it with a card effect, and I just get my board back. It's absolutely insane. 1 Unclasper. This combines with your Gearframe for your first turn play. So when this is added to your hand from anywhere by a card effect, except by drawing it, you can special summon it, but then you're locked to machines. And when it's summoned, you can send a Machina monster from your deck to grave. So the play is, you normal summon Gearframe, add this, spec this, send Citadel, turn these 2 into a Gigan, and search your next turn play. That's sort of the bread and butter. 1 Metal Cruncher. This is an okay normal summon, because you can normal summon it if you don't have any face-up cards. But because you can't always guarantee what you're adding, it's a bit meh. And you can't add Unclasp because it's dark. But it's really good off of your Overdrive. Just get free advantage on a 2-8 body. 1 Possess Storage. This is usually what I search off the Gigant first turn, because then you can next turn normal summon this, bring back your Gearframe or whatever else, and go into a Granite to search your Lord of Heavenly Prison. 1 Citadel. This is usually what I'll dump first turn with the Unclasper, unless I already have it in hand, in which case I'll dump a Fortress. And that's it for the Machina monsters. It's sort of as tight as I can get it. Backup normal summon, 3 Scrap Recycler. Concept's the same, but you don't get into your advantage string. So you just normal summon this, send Citadel, set some traps, hope they run into it without reading your cards. Then it's a couple of monsters to help out with sort of like the trap side of it. Is 3 Lord of Heavenly Prison. This is really good. Just being able to set whatever you want. Most of the time I'd either set Trap Trick, so I can later on sort of decide what I want without fearing it being banished. Or I'll set the redeployment and just search gas for next turn if I've got enough traps. And then 1 Ecclesia. Now I'm not playing Nadir, because your first turn play locks you into machines. So there's no point in searching this when you can't do anything with it. But I am playing triple punishment with the Titanic lad in the extra, so it still does come up. For spells, just one call by and 3 redeployment. This is your double rotor. If you discard a Machina card, you can search the trap as well, which is extremely relevant. Okay, now traps, which are admittedly the meat of the deck. 3 overdrive. This card's absolutely insane. Can we have a hollow one at some point, please, Konami? So you just target a machine, special summon a Machina from your deck with a different name, and then pop the target. So that'll set up your. But if you've got a Citadel and Grave, it'll trigger that. Yeah, just all around insane card, and then you banish a shit from the grave, put back 3 banished or in grave machines and draw 1. So if they like crow your Citadel or something, it's only really annoying for like a turn, and then you just cycle it back again. So nothing's ever like truly lost. But that's also why I didn't play X-Drive or Desires, because banish face down, you can't recycle it. And I'm not spending money on Prosperity at the moment. A smattering of floodgates, skill drain, Imperial, and 2 tick boo. My reason behind tick boo is that I can play under it if I've got my setup, because I'll just cycle Fortress into Citadel, then Ruin Force into Fortress into Citadel again. So I can just sort of like loop down one monster, and those monsters are really like high impact. It's not just me having like a random monster that's got stranded under a floodgate. They're actually relevant. 3 strike, 3 torrential, 2 trap trick, and then a bunch of stuff that works with trap trick. This is insane. 3 punishment. So the dogma stuff and the order came out if I didn't know if I was going first or not. But this is here, not because it's the absolute best thing, but because it's one of the most generic. Like, this came out almost every game, because I have stuff that I'd rather play going first, and stuff I'd rather play going second, but is good no matter which way the dice roll went, if that makes sense. 2 compulse, this is really, really great. A lot of people are building the decks around getting destroyed by like DPE and stuff, so not really reading this. 2 Ice Dragon's Prison, same thing. People sort of expect it a bit more, but it can be really relevant. And then 2 main deck D-Barrier. This was fine. Again, it sort of caught people off guard. It's a bit shit against like Flunder and stuff like that, but you can't have a card that's just good against everything. So that's the main deck. I think it's 45 because I'm terrible at deck building. Extra, this is probably the most scuffed part. 1 Gigigant. This is the only thing in the extra deck that I made reliably every game. This is sort of like your main workhorse with the Gearframe play. Just incredible. 1 Granite. So if you've got 2 bodies out without having used Unclass Bear's in-hand summon effect, you can make this and search your Lord of Heavenly Prison, and that gets you into your the trap side of the deck really easily. Some train cards, Gustav Max and Lieber. I didn't summon them at all. Mainly because if I've gotten 2 10s out, then I kind of want to keep them out a lot of the time. just because they're almost 8k by themselves anyway. If I've got a Citadel and a Ruin Force, and they pair really well together as well, because you can pop the Ruin Force with your Citadel and just go off even more. One Dracosac. So my reasoning behind this was I'll turn 2 Fortress into this, make the tokens, and then make a win with the tokens and like steal a Baroness or something. There's extract scuff because I forgot to put the win in, so is what it is. It's still not a bad card to turn 2 Fortress into. One Iron Wolf. This is basically just Zeus things, is what it is. Borthor didn't summon it. This would probably be an access code talker if I had one. Unicorn didn't make it. Phoenix didn't make it. Scrap Wyvern. You're not doing like big scrap combos with like Golem and stuff, but it's pretty useful just because if you have a Recycler and an Extender, you just send the Citadel, summon the Extender, make this, and then if you're going second, you can do a normal play with the Recycler, summon the Citadel, and then pop one of your opponent's like back row or something, which I did once. Not bad. I wouldn't cut it or anything, but I think most of the stuff, apart from the Gigant that I did summon, I only summoned once or twice. One Zeus, you play Xyz, so yeah. And then just punishment stuff now. Intis, Pegasus, Titaniclad, and then one sort of strange one is Cyberdark End Dragon. So you send this, pop basically anything in the game because it's 5k, and then it's 12 stars of machine for summoning the Ruin Force. One thing that I did mean to put in here as well that I forgot is a Drill Driver Vespinato, because if you make the Gallant Granite, use its effect, and then you turn it into an Earth Machine with Vespinato, which is relevant for like Citadel and the other stuff. Side deck, this literally got thrown together in the last like half an hour before I put the deck list in. One Cycle Reader for like Drytron, Eldritch, stuff like that. You search it off Gigant, so I only played one. It went in but never drew it. 2 Token Collector for Sword Soul but didn't play any. 2 Summon Limit. I swapped out like the Dogma cards for this, and like Judgments, if I know I was going first. Sort of the same thing as Tick Boo, like I can just go off on 2 summons a turn, so I'll do 2 on mine and then 2 on my opponent's fairly easily. 2 Huge Rev, it's mainly against DPE, because it negates and banishes it. 3 Imperm if I knew I was going second. 3 Judgment, these always went in game 2 and 3, no matter if I was going first or second. Because it's not the best thing. It's going first game rather. But they're outs to you, if that makes sense. So it always goes in. And then last 2 was 2 Stormduster, back row hate, trap trickable, excellent. So I'll quickly run down my matchups. Round 1 was against Bird Up. It didn't go too bad. I lost the game, but it didn't go too badly, if that makes sense. Like I didn't feel like I got shut out at all. But game 3 he got an Avian to stick and I didn't see strikes, is basically it. Round 2 was Dogmatic Invoke Shadol. Yeah, this wasn't too bad. I got him under skill drain game 1, and then just trapped him out game 2. So Round 3 was against Plunder. This was really interesting actually because I didn't know what any of the effects did. So I lost game 1. Game 2, I went first, so I just trapped him out. And then game 3 was a bit of a grind, but it got to the point where I had my grave set up. I just whittled down his resources, then I summoned a Ruin Force, which he popped, and I just summoned 3 dudes back and just went for game. Round 4 was Virtual World. This was an absolute brick fest for the both of us. Game 1, he went first, set up a board, and I just couldn't out it. I just didn't really see anything. Then the opposite happened, game 2, and then game 3 took about 25 minutes, half an hour, just because like neither of us saw any names for anything. But I managed to establish Fortress Skill Drain, and I won from there. Round 5 was against Bird Up again. This one went a lot more smoothly. Yeah, not much to say there really, I just got all the traps I needed. Round 6 was another invoked pile. I got absolutely destroyed game 1, just decimated. And then game 2 and 3, I just had the outs to everything. And then round 7 was against PK. I felt kind of bad for this guy, to be honest. Like, he set up his board. Game 1 he set a monster and passed. And that was kind of was the rest of his game. I just don't think he saw like anything, which is kind of impressive because like any 2 level 3s is combo. But yeah, then game 2 he went first, got his full board up, and then I just into that just set 5 pass. Then he didn't quite have lethal, so he summoned a monster into a torrential. Then he changed some DPE stuff, but then I flipped Teekboo in the next draw phase, so I couldn't come back, and then I won from there. Round 8, the last round of day 1 was against Bird Up. Yeah, I just stunned him out. Yeah, nothing particularly interesting there. Round 9 was against Flunder, and much like the Plunder matchup, I should actually read these cards at some point, because I don't really know how best to respond to them. I got a lucky break game 1, and managed to like torrential him and then just put enough damage on board. But then games 2 and 3, I just got walked over. Round 10 was Drytron. This is definitely my worst round of the entire event. Game 1 he just sets up Herald, just like Beatrice, you know, the whole board. I lost a couple of turns, but like it wasn't great. Then game 2 I go first. I think an awesome scrap recycler sends Citadel, and then like set 4 pass. But he opened Alpha Zeta Reboot, and I just fucking get stomped. Is what it is, I suppose. And then round 11 was against Sky Striker, but he made me go first. He won the die roll, but he made me go first. I know a lot of Sky Strikers actually do that, but it worked out very well for me because I just set a bunch of I set like multiple strikes and stuff, and you just couldn't get like a striker link to stick on the board. And then game 2 he makes me go first again, which like if I knew I was going against such a trap heavy deck I probably wouldn't, but is what it is. and I just ground him out. And yeah, I feel sorry for this guy as well, because he was apparently playing DPE striker, and he had one card in his hand, drew for turn, activated Upstart Goblin, drew his card, and then just scooped because his hand was Dasher Celestial. But yeah, kind of happens, I guess. Yeah, if you've got any questions or comments on the deck, just let me know. And yeah, I'll hopefully take this deck to a regional after fixing it a bit, and I might do an updated list after the next set comes out, because it introduces a couple of little bits which we'll play. But yeah, hope to see you guys soon.